So I was with this organization. I'm not going to say we're kind, but I was in an organization and we had like a sales team and then we had like operations, like back office operations, right? And there was always this clash among sales and operations because and I used to say like it's because we're not speaking the same language a lot of
Mhm.
times. We want the same things, but we're not necessarily speaking the same language. And so there was always like a rub, right? Now the sales team, commission driven, like all about volume, whereas operations specifically like risk and quality and compliance, they're more about we got to make sure this is right to mitigate risk for the organization, right? But oftentimes the people on the operations side felt very much like they weren't respected. Anything they tried to say to the sales team was like brushed off
Yeah.
or um, basically looked over, and they still went ahead and got approvals even though like this operations team was like, guys, we can't do that. So as the person, I was over risk, quality, compliance, having a conversation with my leader who was an executive leader. So he was way up there. Um, and I kept bringing some of these concerns, and not just because from a cultural perspective, but more so just from a risk perspective. Because if risk and quality is saying we can't do this or we can't do it this way, and your sales is going to you, and you're like, whatever, just do it. Like we're putting our company at risk. When by the way, you're going to lose really good people because there's only so much of that crap they could take, right? And so I was having this it was a constant conversation in one way or another because we're always getting escalations and whatever. And then in one conversation, I was talking to him and I said, I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is that this team does not feel respected, right? They don't feel like they get any level of respect. They're often treated like the help, right?
Yeah.
For the sales team.
Yeah.
And his response to me was, what? And I said, I feel like they don't feel respected. And so it would be really great if you and I could come up with some way to kind of break down some of those barriers to get to baseline, right? Baseline respect. Like everybody deserves respect. As a human being, you deserve respect. And his response to me was, I absolutely disagree with you because you earn respect. You don't get to just get respect. And your goal and my goal, our goal and our focus is to focus on the people who keep the lights on in the organization, which is sales.
Yeah.
Everybody else is dispensable, essentially. And that in that moment, the little shred of respect I had left for that man
Mhm.
went out the door because and you know what? When we post this episode, this might be something that we might find people on both like on opposite ends.
Yeah.
But I am one who believes that you deserve respect when you come in.
You know what
Now,
I wrote down? Respect is a reflection of you, not them.
right, right.
I
So
wholeheartedly agree with that.
I feel like all of us deserve a certain level of respect. Now, you can certainly gain even more respect based on like what you do and how you show up and get, and
Yeah.
and
My
all these other
baseline
like
is
but
respect.
baseline is as a human being, you deserve respect. And I do not subscribe to that BS mentality of we treat the people who quote keep the lights on better than we do the people in the back office. And oh, by the way, just because someone brings a sale in, we still got to get them across the finish line. And oh, by the way, we do that through operations,
Mhm.
right? So nobody makes a dime until operations takes care of what they need to get that person across the finish line. And essentially, that's what I said to him. It didn't go anywhere, but at that moment, I understood fully where I stood because I was operations,
Mhm.
right? I was
Yeah.
over operations.
Yeah.
So he clearly, without saying it, said that from his perspective, I was dispensable and I didn't necessarily deserve any baseline of respect. And he was not going to give a damn about what happened to the people in operations because he needed his salespeople. So that was one of those moments where I was just like, huh, that is not me, and I am not that kind of leader, and I will never be that kind of leader. And this person was in an executive leadership role
Yeah.
he's still in that role,
Yep.
actually.